Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. I couldn't help myself. Today we are talking about breath work. In my most recent manifestation video, I mentioned a practice that I use as a tool to help my manifestations called breath work. And today I want to tell you the story of my first time ever doing breath work because it was trippy, like the craziest shit I've ever experienced, hands down. First, I want to go over what breathwork is for any of you who may not be familiar. I know it is a term and a practice that is becoming more common in the Western world. It is not a new practice by any means. It definitely has ancient indigenous roots, and so don't think that it originated here, but it is becoming more popular. You've probably heard of breathwork classes or, people being invited to breathwork sessions. You may have gone yourself, I don't know. And it's something that I just started practicing, I would say like 6 months ago, back in September. So I'm definitely by no means an expert. I would say I've probably done around 50 breathwork sessions total from September through now. So this is just going to be my first experience because my first ever experience with breathwork was definitely my most profound. So what exactly is breathwork? Well, the best way I can describe it is an active breathing exercise. It's a somatic healing exercise. So it's in the body. A lot of what we do in the mindset realm, personal development realm, has to do with your mind, and things can become so cerebral that we forget we have a whole body that is picking up on all the stresses, all the anxiety, all the emotions of everyday life. And it plays a huge role not only in our personal development and growth, evolution, whatnot, but also in our manifestations. So it gets us back into our bodies, right? And it kind of has an effect that is similar to a psychedelic from what I know about psychedelics. I am not that well versed with the science behind breathwork, but I can say that this active breathing exercise that you go through, it helps to stir any stuck emotions that may be in the body. It can bring you mental clarity. It can rid you of stress and anxiety in a way that you've never experienced before. It can give you an energy boost. It can lead to visions. It can elevate your mood. And my favorite side effect, if you want to call it that, is it taps you into your intuition and directly to source, whether that is the universe that you believe in, God, Allah, whatever deity, whatever higher power. Breathwork is a way to tap into that and directly connect with that on the deepest, purest level. So it's a very, very, very cool practice that is literally just done by active breathing. I'm just ready to get into my first experience because, like I said, it was the trippiest thing I have ever experienced, and I don't think I'll ever forget it. So I actually have a little show and tell moment for you guys. This is the journal and my chicken scratch that I wrote in after my first experience with breathwork. So that's not my normal handwriting. I usually have very nice, neat handwriting, and I'll tell you why my handwriting looks like this in a moment. So this is what my handwriting normally looks like. This is what it looked like after breathwork. Pretty crazy, right? So I'll get to why it looked like that in a second, but the first time I ever did breathwork, I was enrolled in a digital course by Catherine Zankina called Rich Babe Academy. So she herself is a breathwork facilitator, and as part of the program, we had weekly live breathwork sessions through Zoom that she was facilitating for us. The first week of the course, I was actually visiting family, and so I did not feel comfortable doing my first breathwork session around family. I wanted to be alone by myself just in case, anything weird happened. Because I had heard stories of, it's common for people to scream or cry or have an orgasm, or all of these intense emotional releases are fairly common when you are going through a breathwork session. So I didn't want to have that possibility around family. Just wanted to be by myself so that I could feel free to let whatever needed to happen. And so within, I think 30 minutes after I had walked into my apartment after coming home from the airport, I said, it's time, let's do this. Because lucky for me, Catherine was generous enough to record all of these breathwork sessions and post them to our digital courses homepage in case you weren't able to make one of the live sessions, whatever it may have been. So I had the replay that was all ready to go for me. I just needed to get myself ready and hit play. I did that as soon as I got home from the airport. I was so excited. I had been waiting all week to get back so that I could just see what all this hype was about breathwork. So naturally I was a little bit nervous, right? I had heard about all these potential things that could happen. Your hands can cramp up into little claws like this. Like I said, you can scream, you can have these big emotional releases. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know how I was going to react. I didn't know if my whole body was just going to be cramping up. So I was really nervous the first time because you don't know how you're going to react until you go through it once. And so it was nighttime. I went ahead and just set some mood lighting in my room and laid down, got myself ready, put my little earbuds in. Put my AirPods in and watched the replay. So the first time I was really hyper focused and in my head about how I was breathing, if I was doing it correctly, if I was going to get the most out of it, just setting all of these expectations that I should not have done. Because if I have any tips for you to get the most out of a breathwork session, it would be to not have expectations, because you're just going to stay stuck in your head this whole time. And remember, it's a somatic exercise, so it is taking you through your body. You want to get out of your head as much as possible. But even still, I had a trippy experience. So we're breathing, right? We're going through the breath pattern, and we were, I think, 3 or 4 songs into our playlist, and this was going to be about an hour-long session. So I'd say we were 20 minutes in, and out of nowhere, really, I just feel my body start to vibrate. It started at my toes started vibrating, and then it worked up through my calves, through my thighs, my stomach, torso, my arms, and eventually my whole body was just vibrating. If you had touched me, you would have been able to feel it. It was the weirdest thing. And then that was happening, I was just going with it, just continued breathing. After I was vibrating, my face started cramping up, which I hold a lot of tension in my face. I get migraines, I clench my teeth at night. It's just where my body decides to hold a good amount of its stress. So that was starting to cramp up, and at the same time, my teeth started vibrating, and it was just the weirdest somatic response. It's definitely not what I was expecting, but again, don't set expectations. You just don't know what's gonna happen. And it's not like I was uncomfortable. I wasn't in pain or anything like that. It was just really weird. I hadn't ever experienced anything like that before. And so as I was vibrating and I was, trying to stay out of my head as much as possible, the visions started to set in. I mentioned I was in this course, right? And this course was super focused on money manifestation and just manifestation in general, really. And so that is definitely where my attention was at the time, is really working on my manifestation skills and undoing a lot of stuff, rewiring a lot of beliefs. And I started to, it almost felt like I was dreaming, but I was awake. So I don't know if you would want to call that lucid dreaming. to me, I'm just gonna say I was having a vision. It's really funny to tell this story now because what a ridiculous vision, but I was walking down the aisle at a Trader Joe's, my local Trader Joe's, and I was seeing myself grocery shopping, and I didn't audibly hear a voice, but in my head, a voice was speaking to me, if that makes sense. So I wasn't physically hearing sounds, but someone was speaking to me in my vision. And I'm gonna say that was my intuition, the universe, whichever. I was being told that my health was a big portion of what was blocking my manifestations. You know, I was not eating well at the time. I was doing a lot of processed foods, a lot of junky foods, just wasn't paying good attention to what I was putting into my body. And so in my vision, I vividly remember picking out 3 peppers, a red one, a yellow one, and a green one, and you know, I was going to incorporate those into a meal, and I was just picking out all these really healthy foods, and my intuition was telling me, you have the time to focus on your health and what you're ingesting. Pay more attention to it. Take it seriously. This is going to help your manifestation game so much. And that's essentially what happened for the remainder of the 45 minutes. You know, I was shaking and vibrating and just having this intense vision of me at the grocery store, and it was the trippiest thing. I know it sounds ridiculous now, but at the time, man, this was quite the epiphany. And so I went to Trader Joe's the next day, I bought my peppers, and I was on a health kick for a good while, and I did feel better. And I did have a lot of things manifest for me. And so I don't feel like it was out of left field. I think there was definitely some good insight there that I needed to hear. So back to my journal. This chicken scratch that I showed, that is what my handwriting looked like as soon as I awoke, or as soon as our breath work session was over. I needed to write it down right away because I was worried I was going to forget or whatever, and this was the best that my hand could do. Like, it was still vibrating at the time, and I needed to get my thought out, and so I quickly just wrote what I needed to do. It really was the craziest thing. I don't know. I have not since had any sort of body vibrating, teeth vibrating, anything like that since that first time that I did it. And I do breath work fairly regularly, at least once a week, if not a couple times. Hasn't happened since. It was just that first time. So that was my first ever experience with breath work. Now I'd love to make more videos going forward explaining, you know, how to maximize your breath work session, kind of how they're structured, and specific things that they can help you with. But as I mentioned in my manifestation video, breathwork is a great supplemental tool to use to help your manifestations come to fruition quicker. So that is it for today's video. I really hope it was helpful for you guys. I hope you enjoyed my little breathwork story. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and make sure to subscribe to my channel for more content on mindset, manifestation, personal development, and of course, fashion and style. With that, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!